culmination of working on this piece and creating this piece for the last year, almost a year and a half now. And it's really exciting being a part of this process, being a dancer in this process, and getting to delve not only in the joys of what it means to like speak on all of these different topics, but also like the hardships of the creation process itself.
I was having a lot of dreams about water and a lot of dreams about storms and a lot of dreams about drowning, just the intensity of hurricanes and you know, in some ways washing away all of this chaos in order to be able to create something new and create something powerful. One of the real catalysts or the moments where I figured out kind of how I was going to approach this piece actually had to do with just the incredible barrage of deaths that has been happening with young Black men in our country, and having a child myself and thinking about from a mother's perspective. As an artist, you always come from a place that is personal. I really realized since becoming a parent that my artwork and my art making has become even more about that. And so Agua Furiosa is this place for me as an artist and as a human being to really start just exploring this huge idea of our humanity, of who we are as human beings and how we treat one another and how we treat the world we live in.
I've been finding which Caliban I connect the most to, and really today found myself actually crying in the work, and I think that's kind of what it's about. It's about bringing ourselves and our stories to the work, because this work's really about humanity.
I say, like, if we were going to narrow it down to one idea, it would be that, you know, there's a parallel between the way that we treat our environment and the way that we treat each other. And, you know, both conversations need to happen at the same time.
Y para mí esta pieza representa muchas cosas, pero en especial creo que es la conexión, como de verdad ponerte en los zapatos de otra persona y sentir lo que esa persona siente, o sea, de verdad, ser más humano, ser más humilde.
I wound up seeing a version of the Tempest in New York. It made me realize that none of these things that we create as artists are really new, but how can we build something based on histories and things that have been told before us and struggles that have been explored before us, and how can we take those and see the places where we've actually been missing. Looking at the Tempest, I got really clear about that idea of those voices that are not heard, and Sycorax is the example of the voice that is not heard. And in Agua Furiosa and in the Tempest, she is the mother character, she is the goddess, she is the witch. Really, this piece is about that. This piece is about listening to the feminine, listening to the mother, listening to the nurturer.
I'm playing Ella, who is the goddess that's often known in the African-Cuban pantheon of deities as Oya. And so she's the goddess of the wind, of the storms, and she has a little bit of an element of edginess. She is very like that tough love kind of mother.
My character in the show, in a way, I play Ariel. If you know Shakespeare's The Tempest, Ariel's the spirit, the air. In this piece, in Agua Furiosa, the physical representation of ella. So I get to be her physical side.
In Caliban 2, I portray this character who is female, and she is using her body to entice people and get lost in the crowd and follow the crowd. And in the end, you see how this character starts to unveil and see herself and finally appreciate her body and love herself. And it's kind of reflective, I feel, to how a lot of women in this age go through so many stages of loving oneself and being comfortable with their sexuality. So
I think Agua Furiosa is about finding our humanity. It's about finding our hearts and finding love and finding compassion through the chaos of life.
As a part of us building this work, we've been doing these laboratories where we share a little bit of what we're working on. We get people dancing with us, and then we do story circles, sharing ideas and stories connected to the work. You know, we've been in this process of creating the work through these choreographic labs. And when I say creating the work through the labs have helped us shape the way that the work is evolving, but also the labs have kept us accountable as artists.
While I'm working on the music, it's really important for me to have a multi-dimensional sort of experience, sonic experience. So having those sort of ideas and story or narrative textures as part of the compositions for Agua Furiosa, it really helps to inform the piece, and it inspires me in a way that I've been able to create and compose a variety of different sounds and sound prints.
Those stories are a part of like how we wound up generating this piece and are with every single one of us when we're on stage, when we're making the work, when we're in the work.
I think I've come to the realization that like as artists, we're pretty much superheroes. Like it's crazy. Like you look at all these like Marvel and DC people and they have all these special powers, and as dancers and as artists, as all artists out there, like that's actually us. We have the ability to make people feel something.
What I'm really hoping as an artist is that you can see and feel some of that as an audience, is that the work is not just about these 8 people that are on stage together, that the work is so much bigger than them, it's so much bigger than anyone sitting in the audience, but that the work is about me, it's about you, it's about all of us, and that's something that I think, because of the process of how we made the piece, I'm hoping that that's really going to come across, that it's not going to be about one person's experience, but that it really is about the tackling our humanness.